Hello and welcome to managingwithmoney.com. Please have a pen and notepad ready. Take as many notes as you like. You can also rewind our video if you need to listen to something again. Remember, there will be a short quiz at the end of each section. Your score will be marked at the end of this module, and a certificate of achievement will be rewarded to you. Let's get down to some basics by looking at debt. Let's find out why it happens, what to do if it happens to you, and how to avoid it happening to you in the future. The objectives of this lesson are: to be aware of the causes of debt, to recognize the difference between priority and non-priority debt, to be aware of the consequences of non-payment, to learn various ways to cope with debt. To start to do this, we need to look at types of debt. What is priority, and what is non-priority debts? The type of debt, priority or non-priority, this is decided by looking at what happens when the debt is not paid. If the consequence of non-payment of the debt would result in losing your home, losing an essential service, or losing your liberty, for example going to jail, then it is regarded as a priority debt. Please remember, it is not just managing with money who decides which of these debts are priority. You will get the same answer if you asked at Citizens Advice, Welfare Rights, or any debt advice service. There are two types of debt: priority and non-priority debts. If you do not pay your priority debts, you could lose your home, lose essential services, lose your liberty. Here are the examples of priority debts: mortgage and rent, council tax, gas and electricity, TV license, fines, child maintenance. So here you have them, and it's plain to see. If you fail to make your rent and mortgage payments, you risk losing your home. So clearly these are priority debts. You must give these priority. If you were to fall behind in making payments to your gas and electric suppliers, then you may be disconnected and lose those essential services. So once again, these are priority debts that must be paid. Failing to pay some other priority of debt could end up with you going to prison. This might occur with council tax, TV license, fines and child maintenance payments. It is not often the case to end up in prison, but it could happen. But these debts are considered as priorities because going to jail is the final consequence. Now here are examples of non-priority debts. Unsecured loans, example personal loans, doorstep lenders, bank overdrafts and loans, payday loans, logbook loans, etc. Credit cards, store charge, catalog, money from family and friends, telephone, internet, Sky, etc. To the creditor, the money they have lent you is their main priority. But remember, if you cannot pay everyone, you must pay your priority debts first. It's not just managing with money who will give you this advice. You will get the same advice if you asked at Citizens Advice, Welfare Rights, or any debt advice service. This leaves a lot of other debts which are classed as non-priority. Let's take a non-priority credit card debt as an example. You may tell them that you can't afford to pay them because you have your rent to pay. The credit card company may say the rent is not as important as the payment to them. They shouldn't be saying this, but some companies do. Always remember, it's very important to know which debts are your priority debts. If you do have financial problems, you must pay the people who are priority first. Unfortunately, non-priority debts will just have to wait. Before we continue, let's look at the causes of debt. And the idea that people recklessly overspend on items is just not true. The perception that going wild in the aisles is the biggest cause of financial difficulties. Again, this is usually not true. The reality is that nearly half of all the debt problems are actually caused by work issues, such as redundancy, reduced working hours, 0-hours contracts, or a pay cut. Life issues, such as divorce, bereavement and illness, are another common cause of debt. Whereas overspending and going wild in the aisles is the cause of debt, in only 10% of cases. We find that the majority of people do not plan to get into debt problems. but the debt problem almost creeps up. Then when something unexpected happens, the debt is completely unmanageable, and problems start to build. The main thing to remember is don't ignore the problems. Talk to someone and ask for help as soon as you can. Now see below this video. This is the first part of our quiz. Answer the question as best you can. We will mark your answers once you have completed this module. Once you finish our course, we will award you with a certificate of achievement.